feared you would do your best to avoid being alone with me, Rogue.
X-Men the Animated Series was a game-changer in superhero animation during the 90s, and it's not surprising that a follow-up reboot series titled X-Men 97 has been one of the most anticipated animated shows in recent times. The first 2 episodes of the series have finally been released, and there are already too many talking points in the eventful narrative. In this video, we have a bone to pick with one of the most controversial moments from the first 2 episodes, the clear indication of a romantic connection between Magneto and Rogue. Will they go on to become an item in the series? How's their relationship going to impact Gambit? And what will be the fate of this unlikely love affair? Keep watching the video till the end as we explore all the answers. There will be a few spoilers along the way, so you've been warned. Before we get into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Another soul finally seeing yours?
How does the second episode set up the potential romance between Magneto and Rogue? The first 2 episodes of X-Men 97 have set up the series perfectly, and there's a lot happening around the X-Men. From encountering the mutant boy Roberto, aka Sunspot, to Magneto coming back to lead the X-Men as a promise made to Professor Xavier, to the UN approving the mutant state Genosha as a member state after pardoning Magneto for his previous crimes on humanity. It's quite an eventful affair. There are also a few shocking twists, such as the revelation around Jean Grey at the end of the second episode, and Storm losing her powers after getting shot during Magneto's trial. However, the one twist that sticks out like a sore thumb is the clear suggestion in the second episode that Magneto and Rogue share something deep. It all starts when Rogue and Magneto interact privately, and Rogue tries to comfort Magneto regarding the hesitant nature of the X-Men entrusting him. Although Magneto seems to have turned over a new leaf, and he follows the philosophies of Professor Xavier now, the X-Men find it difficult to believe him blindly. Cyclops in particular is quite skeptical about this new version of Magneto, and you can't really blame him given Magneto's record as one of the deadliest enemies of the X-Men for so long. Rogue advises him that he should not stress about gaining the trust of the X-Men overnight, and instead earn it over time through his actions. She gives her own example and states how the X-Men took her in, even after all the wrongs that she had done. While Magneto listens to her wisdom, he cannot help but mention one particular secret about Rogue that wouldn't make the X-Men trust her as much as they do. Rogue looks at him in shock, and is quick to remark that this secret must remain one, and that no word of it must ever reach the X-Men. While it's not explicitly laid out at this point, the dirty secret seems to be their previous dalliance, which no one else knows about. It's quite evident from their behavior and mildly flirty exchange that they have a lot of suppressed emotions for each other. If this was not enough of a hint, there's a greater confirmation toward the end of the episode. The scene shows them holding hands, and Gambit watches them from the hallway outside, visibly upset about how things are proceeding. Have Magneto and Rogue been romantically involved in the comic books? This random romantic inclination between Magneto and Rogue came as a surprise for us, because the original X-Men animated series didn't really venture much in that direction. However, the comic book readers would know that such a possibility is not all that random. There have been instances in the comic book story arcs where Magneto and Rogue have been romantically involved with each other. The X-Men comics have been known for introducing many scandalous love affairs, and the narratives have dared to ignore all social taboos in this regard. Rogue and Magneto's affair is one such event, which was first highlighted during the events of Uncanny X-Men number 274. Here, both Magneto and Rogue were in Savage Land, the mysterious terrain where reality is slightly altered. They had a passionate moment briefly, but it never really amounted to a relationship. However, back in the real world, they continued to have some feelings for each other, and their affair was always teased as a possibility for the fans, with the typical will they or won't they vibe. Later, their union was also explored in the Age of Apocalypse story arc, and there are comic book storylines that look back at how Rogue was rescued by Mystique and delivered to Magneto at his request. She was then left in charge of Magneto's daughter, Scarlet Witch, and when Apocalypse's son Nemesis attacked them, Scarlet Witch died while trying to safeguard Rogue. Her dying wish for Rogue was to take care of Magneto and be a trusted friend to him. Over the years, Rogue rose through the ranks of Magneto's X-Men, and she also got romantically involved with another mutant, Gambit. However, the attraction she felt for Magneto was undeniable, and it kept intensifying as she spent more and more time with him. The feelings were mutual, and they discovered that the similar nature of their magnetic powers canceled each other out, and they could touch one another. Their relationship eventually drove Gambit away from the X-Men, and he realized that Rogue chose Magneto over him. In this particular narrative, Rogue and Magneto even got married and had a son named Charles. In the original timeline, however, their relationship is more suggested than obviously stated. It's always bordering on the potential they have to be with each other, and how it never materializes. Some of the writers even claim that the whole Magneto and Rogue saga was introduced so that Gambit could endure some pain and become a darker character. Whatever be the case, it's clear that the association between the two unlikely lovers is not unheard of in the comics.
Watch it break in a blink that changes your life.
How will this relationship impact Gambit? While Rogue and Magneto's affair borders on being scandalous, Gambit and Rogue have been one of the most popular couples in the X-Men universe. There are numerous storylines that explore the wonderful chemistry between the two, and they even get married in the comics. Just like with Magneto, physical contact between Gambit and Rogue does not harm either of them, which makes them a rare match. X-Men 97 also starts off by suggesting that they're a well-established item among the X-Men, but the interruption by Magneto threatens to change the equation between the two. Now that Gambit has seen them together, expect some animosity against Magneto and some distance between Gambit and Rogue. Like in the comic books, Gambit can also be tempted to leave the X-Men temporarily to find some peace from his romantic woes. What will be the likely outcome of this unlikely attraction? The original X-Men animated series was known for being true to the source material comic books, and X-Men 97 promises to follow along the same route. In the first couple of episodes, many events such as Magneto's trial, Jean Grey's identity crisis, and even Storm losing her powers have been taken from the comic book events. If the relationship between Rogue and Magneto is also loyal to the source, then you may not see their affair materialize into anything concrete. As it is, Magneto is old enough to be her father, and it is not a chemistry that will be adored by the fans. Expect to see bits and pieces of their attraction for each other, as they both try to perform their respective duties. How Gambit deals with the situation also remains to be seen, but we can already predict some friction between the three of them.
Should I successfully vindicate myself in what I will generously...
Marvelous verdict. An attempt to give the narrative a darker tone? We were simply baffled by the suggestion that something might be cooking between Magneto and Rogue. As has been mentioned in the video already, the man is old enough to be her father, and he's almost the same age as Professor Xavier, which makes it all the more cringeworthy. That being said, X-Men the Animated Series was known for breaking barriers back in the 90s, when they explored complicated social issues through the stories. X-Men 97 might go the same way, and the suggested affair between the two might just be a way to give the narrative a darker tone. They may not necessarily have a happy ending in all likelihood, but the impact of this attachment might be far-reaching, and the development of characters like Magneto, Rogue, and Gambit going ahead in the series might depend on the outcome of this romance. Do let us know in the comments below about your thoughts on the potential relationship between Magneto and Rogue. Also tell us whether you're rooting for the couple, or would you rather see her go back to Gambit? And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.